So I'm headed to the Carriage House to meet Jim Long, New Media Jim, who I've known through Twitter for quite some time, and he's here at Kennebunkport covering the president. So what's happening here, Jim?
All right. Okay. The French president is coming to the compound for Sarkozy.
Yes.
For a barbecue.
Today?
Yeah. Right.
Cool.
Right about when is it happening? You're in the French pool.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
they're gonna go over and presumably get like a photo op.
Yeah.
Or something over at the, a handshake and a burger and a hot dog picture, that kind of thing. This is our transmission point area, and this is where all 5 of the networks feed all our videos. This is my friend Len. Len's an old friend of Pete Williams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You bet, Casper.
Team NBC, John Yang and Tammy Peppermint over there.
From the Carriage House, Jim took me out through the lobby of the hotel to the putting green, where he had his camera set up to do live remotes with John Yang throughout the day. Afterward, we visited about how he first got into broadcasting and what brought him into New Media.
Strong lights to battle and compete with the sun.
Oh, I see.
And I've rigged a 4x4 silk, so it softens the light.
Yeah.
The sunlight comes through that and softens it and broadens it. And then I fill on the other side with an 800 watt HMI that fries them like an egg. Which cables? Oh, go for it, yeah. What time do you guys hit? 10:30. Like I got a 10:50. Being in those classes and beginning to take video production classes, I was really just fascinated with this sort of empowering feeling of like, wow, broadcasting. I could be part of this. This is huge. And back then it kind of still was huge. It's, I think personal broadcasting is gaining a lot of strength these days. I was in San Diego with President Bush when Hurricane Katrina hit. As the press buses are driving out to the airport, I see people changing the price tags on the gas stations, and they were changing the dollar figures, not the cents figures. I knew right then and there that I had to get rid of my Chevy Suburban. I went home and I bought a Honda Element. The Honda Element had a little input for an iPod. I convinced myself that I needed to buy an iPod, which I'd been resisting for some time. So I buy an iPod. Well, now I have to put something on it. So I started Googling for things to put on my iPod, and I came across the Portable Media Expo. And I looked at all the discussion that was going on at that expo, and they had recordings that you could download, and they were talking about business models and people creating media and leveraging their audience for sponsorship and advertising revenue. And I saw the birth of a business model occurring, and I thought, wow, this is fascinating. That, combined with the disruption that's occurring in traditional media, the loss of audience, where are these audiences going? Well, they're spending time online. They're creating their own sources of news. They're creating their own newspapers. They're creating their own feeds. And it occurred to me that the atrophy that is occurring in my business is merely sort of symbolic of opportunity that lies very close by, but in the online world.
You really are at sort of the boundary of two crashingly different worlds. What's the best thing about being right there where the two kind of collide?
The skill sets that I have are transferable to either world. My old media storytelling skill set, my visual storytelling skill set, my video production skill set, understanding the grammar and storytelling construct of television can be transferred to emerging media models. My understanding of emerging media, social networking, social media, can be applied to traditional media models that are desperately trying to figure that world out. Currently, and I don't speak for my current employer, but overall, I think current traditional media outlets are merely mimicking and aping what they see in social media. What I see in social media is real, genuine community, and a real exchange of ideas, and a real, truly conversational nature of the medium. I don't know if traditional media is fully capable of grasping that wholly. I hope so. I think there is a little bit of hubris and and definitely a walled garden mentality with traditional media. In other words, this is our stuff, and we'll let you look at it, consume it. There's not this feeling that you have as much of a stake in this as we do. You're a part of this. We need you, which I genuinely feel in the best of social media. I've discovered that being genuine and being nice goes a long way. I mean, it sounds really simple, but I mean, if you genuinely care about people, if you genuinely like to meet people, if you are genuinely interested in other people's ideas, that's going to go a long way. When I blog, sometimes I fall into a trap of this is what I have to say, and I don't leave room for what do you think about that? And I need to work on that, but I find that when I do, I find that the responses that I get just on my blog are just amazing, and they're far more lengthy and instructive and intuitive than my post. You know, my post just tees up an idea and goes, "What do you think?" And then, well, this is what I think. I go, wow. I mean, that is the beauty. I think that's where you win.
In the second half of this episode, we'll see Jim in action doing some presidential coverage and hear him talk more about new media.